Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, no longer Los Angeles, California. To be pseudo-specific, my name is Brian Engelman. Today is Saturday, August 9th, 2025. And this right here is the TNAM Daily Show here on the new American media, because the old American media has failed you. On today's show, we're going to talk about the things that are happening this weekend. We're going to scroll through our X feed. We're at American_media_. Make sure you're following us. We're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders. Oh, yeah. He was a big story that he fell. He was projected to be one of the top quarterbacks, and he went in the 5th round. And he played fantastic, leading 3 touchdown drives yesterday for the Cleveland Browns. So we'll touch on that, but I will tell you that I'm going to do a special episode of the Unhappy Hour Sports Show, specifically breaking down Shedeur Sanders and some football stuff on the side. So we're just going to kind of touch and go on that today, but we're also going to take a look at all of the other stories in the news. Crime in D.C., J.D. Vance warning the United Kingdom about censorship and gerrymandering and 1,500 trucks getting off the road because the drivers don't speak English and they can't read the English signs. And what in the world is happening? America is healing, is what's happening. So we're going to break it all down, jump into the comments section, hit like, hit subscribe, and let's begin today's episode of the TNAM Daily Show, a division of the Agree to Disagree Show. Here we go.
Guide to the Truth, the new AmericanMedia.com.
Thank you very much for being here today. Jump into the comments, trying to pull this up on my feed. It's acting differently today, but here we go. Eventually, I think we are up live. I can verify we are streaming in the places we are supposed to be streaming to. Let me mute this, and we're ready to go. Awesome. So who's excited for football? This guy right here. Shedeur Sanders looked awesome yesterday. He looked poised. He looked comfortable. He looked professional. He made tight window throws. He made on-the-run throws. He made slides around the protection scheme while staying in the pocket to zip a touchdown pass. It reminds me of watching Baker Mayfield's first game. I said, the kid has the tools. Play him. And they were dumb enough they didn't even start Baker that year. I think Shedeur Sanders already showed us he has what it takes. Make him the starter. Make Joe number 2. And just go. You're going to learn by playing. You're going to learn by doing. And if you're preparing, if you're doing the walkthroughs with the number 1s, well, that's how you get better. But I couldn't be much more impressed than I was. I went out and bought a couple Shedeur Sanders rookie cards. I'm in. So that's a question of the day. If you are a football fan, type in the comments. Oh, that actually reminds me. I need to share this one more place. To the sports groups. Make sure you're following us in all the places. Yeah, this is on our Facebook groups. I'm going to say Shedeur and more. All right. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I'm even going to play game footage. They're so weird about censoring videos, and especially with sports. News is different. Like, in order to talk about the news, you have to show the clips of the people talking about the news to, like, here's the context. It's called fair use. How are you going to talk about Shedeur Sanders' performance unless you show the performance? But yeah, sports is way different. So I almost have to go out of my way to not do that. But I'm super excited now. I was not very excited for this Browns season. Excited for Mason Graham, the defensive tackle. The Browns traded back a couple of picks, got Jacksonville's first round pick next year just to slide back. Jacksonville took the Heisman winner, Hunter, out of Colorado, where Shedeur played. And yeah, we got Mason Graham, and he's going to wreck. Him and Myles Garrett on the same defensive line is an absolute nightmare. Mason Graham is an interior lineman, but he is active. He spins, he swims, he gets around people. He is a disruptor. He's a Tasmanian devil in there. And if you got Myles doing what Myles always does, my gosh. So I'm excited for a couple components of the Browns season. I don't buy this that we're set up to lose the most games in the league. We're trash. We're going to be trash. I'm not buying it. I expect an undefeated Super Bowl winning season, because why not? I don't know, the amount of talent difference from team to team, especially because there's a nice salary cap. It's like there's a floor and there's a ceiling, and kind of keeps the teams in competitive balance. But then look at baseball. The Cleveland Indians, the Guardians, they have a third of the payroll that the Yankees have, and we're a half game back. We're right there. We're right in the mix with, less resources. And I've been calling for a salary cap in baseball for a long time. Kind of keep the team spending roughly the same so that you can measure roughly the same product. When it's so lopsided, it's hard to call it competitive balance. But, in that sport, the Tribe are doing just fine. All right, let's jump into the news and see what's happening this weekend, shall we? This right here. All right, let's talk about the powder keg, which is Big Balls. We know Big Balls because, I don't know, they tried to shame him for having a silly screen name or something. Part of the Doge network. Well, guess what? He stopped a carjacking, and he got assaulted brutally by 7 or 8 thugs who should be in jail. Yes, in jail for a very long time if you're carjacking people. You don't get to do that. Well, the team is rallying behind Big Balls. Are you surprised? Take a listen to Scott Jennings here.
I was going to tell you right now, the plight of American hero Big Balls has set off a firestorm in the Republican Party. This kid.
The plight of American hero Big Balls has set off a firestorm in the Republican Party. And this lady's laughing like it's funny.
This kid who worked for the Doge guys didn't shut down any diners that I know of, but he's out of the government now. He goes out on the street.
He infiltrated all of our information.
He protects a woman from being attacked by a roving street gang, and he had the crap kicked out of him. And, we had a congressional intern murdered not too long ago. I'm just telling you, Republicans right now have about had it with the violence and the idea that you can't even walk around D.C. right now without getting attacked by street gangs.
Don't we have laws on the books already?
I'm just going to tell you right now, the plight of American hero Big Balls has set off a firestorm in the Republican Party.
So yeah, it's time for America to rediscover DISCOVER our Big Balls. Yeah, it was weird how she got hot and bothered. Was it too much truth for her? How dare you call out criminality? All right, JD Vance talking about the UK.
Well, I'd say I've raised concerns about free speech in the United States of America. I think the entire collective West, the transatlantic relationship, our NATO allies, certainly the United States under the Biden administration, got a little too comfortable with censoring rather than engaging with a diverse array of opinions. So that's been my view. Obviously, I've raised some criticism and concerns about our friends on this side of the Atlantic. But the thing that I'd say to the people of England or to anybody else, to David, is many of the things that I worry most about were happening in the United States from 2020 to 2024. I just don't want other countries to follow us down what I think was a very dark path under the Biden administration. So in the spirit of having a good conversation, and recognizing the secretary has a lot of things to do, unless you want to say anything else. Well, I'd say I've raised concerns.
It was very dark, and he doesn't want other countries doing what the deep state Democrats did under the Biden puppet regime. Time to recalibrate the globe. More Scott Jennings, this time on gerrymandering.
The only reason that they're doing this is because Texas Republicans.
By the way, the thought on JD Vance there, I mean, it's great to have. I mean, what good was Mike Pence? Was Mike Pence trustworthy? Was Mike Pence someone that was out there pushing freedom, or was he, actually behind the scenes working against Trump? It's nice to have a vice president that's out there doing decent stuff. I'm happy about that. I don't know if he's the heir apparent to the Republican Party in 3.5 years, but he makes me comfortable with the thought. He seems capable and competent. He seems articulate. He seems sharp. Seems to carry around the right ideas. And I'm a fan of that. All right, back to gerrymandering lies.
Republicans are not playing it fair to Texans, and they're trying to rig the system ahead of the midterm elections.
I think Democrats look
President Trump
politically
said
weak.
that.
Let's let Scott talk. And it's not going to benefit you guys next
Regarding
year.
California, Republicans get about 40% of the vote, and they have 17% of the congressional seats. So not a great example. But number two, if it's rigging the election, that's your words, in Texas, is it going to be rigging the election when all these Democrats who say they're going to gerrymander in the other state, are you also going to argue that they're rigging the election or just in Texas?
Yes,
and have the elections been rigged
It's a good question.
in Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, New Mexico, Hawaii, Oregon, Washington, and Rhode Island? Have they been rigged there as well? Because there, the proportion of Republican vote comes nowhere near what they have in Congress.
They did a normal redistricting process. If states end up going if states end up going and calling special sessions and doing all of these things to try to gain seats, I agree. I don't agree with that. Do I think they need to do it? Absolutely, because if Republicans aren't going to play fair, then Democrats aren't going to play fair, and that's the fight that we have to have right now.
But Democrats aren't playing fair in some of the states we've
All right,
listed.
we'll see what happens when every state starts redistricting every year, every 2 years, where that leaves us. It's going to be chaos going forward.
The only reason.
Well, the system has been rigged. The comment we put is that Democrats have rigged every single stronghold of theirs. And I put stronghold in quotations because I don't think it's really that strong. So the American people don't support the Democrats nearly enough to justify the percentage of political representation that they have. Is that fair? Or is that unfair? I don't know the way out of the gerrymandering system. I'm all ears. I don't know. I mean, do we just ask AI to take a sample thing and have a few of them try to calibrate it so that you could sort of, I don't know. I just know it felt weird for so many years in Los Angeles to feel like your vote never counted because you got zero representation. And it was frustrating because from the district attorneys that wouldn't arrest the bad guys to the police chief that's, setting policies and the politicians that are directing them to do the wrong things. It's like you could never get any course correction. And that gets frustrating quick. All right, Miss Muckraker has a few posts here saying the Trump admin has taken 1,500 trucks off of the roads because the drivers could not speak English, per Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. Are you kidding me? Liberal trigger, another Sydney Sweet, getting tongue-tied. Liberal trigger from Gunther Eagleman. This one's getting tough. Liberal trigger, another Sydney Sweeney ad just dropped. Why do I feel like this whole thing is a tongue twister? I don't know. It's not even telling me what the ad is. Oh, okay. Is this no, I don't. Do you understand the outrage over Sydney Sweeney? Does anyone actually get it? Or was it just, it was two face-pierced angry ladies and everyone blew it up to make it seem like America was outraged? I don't think anyone was actually outraged. I mean, you could take a very long leap of logic to get to, oh, genes. Oh, you're talking about them. Oh, some genes are better than others. It's just a fairly attractive, very busty, smiling lady doing commercials. I don't know, but it doesn't tell me which company it's for. Sydney Sweeney's brother, Trent, just got promoted to staff sergeant in the Air Force. And he captioned the post, "It's them good genes. Dude's a legend." That's awesome. Good for them. Breaking, great genes are back in the golden age of America. Sororities around the country are going viral, posting videos of good genes. Breaking, President Trump has signed a directive to the Pentagon to begin using military force against certain Latin American drug cartels. Well, is that a threat to our nation? Oh, you're damn right it is. Here, let me put comments on the side of the screen here. Anybody? Hello, everybody. Good morning. David up in Canada. It helps the New American Media. It helps the TNAM Daily Show claim with 100% certainty that we are a critically acclaimed. I can't even say it. I am so tongue-twisted today. Critically acclaimed. How about that? Makes the TNAM Daily Show a critically acclaimed international program. Our brother to the north, David Bann in Ontario. We got Sid over there. What's up, Sid? In the Cape over by Boston. Wicked awesome. So yeah, how do you feel about this? I did a podcast yesterday, the Finding Freedom podcast. What was it called? It was Meme Wars on Lions of Liberty. So if you haven't been to Lions of Liberty, pull up a second tab, grab them on Rumble or YouTube, and check out the stream from yesterday. I was a guest with John Odermatt, and we were talking about this topic. And there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot of angles. But are you concerned that President Trump signed a directive to the Pentagon so that we can begin using military force against certain Latin American drug cartels? I mean, the cartels have been the deep state for a long time. Is this an actual war against the deep state? I mean, it's one thing to put your hands up as a pseudo-libertarian and go, I don't know. I don't really care if people are doing drugs. I can't have somebody, zombified behind a wheel. I can't have somebody, I don't want people overdosing on fentanyl. I don't want heroin junkies stealing everything not bolted down. Or meth junkies. I can be pseudo-libertarian, but I don't want all that bad stuff happening either. It's going to be very interesting because either the drug cartels work with the United States or they are a terrorist organization that needs attention. David, yeah, he's saying they need to take out the cartels. Curious to get what Bella's thought is on the cartels. But yeah, I mean, I would sense that John Odermatt with Lions of Liberty, please check out that show yesterday. A few of you guys did jump in on, I think John Boy jumped in, Patriot Warrior Texas, and Kenneth jumped in on the live stream, dropping mad comments over there. It was pretty good. But yeah, I would guess that John is a little bit more concerned about this escalation and the fact that probably drug wars in and of themselves are things that we shouldn't really be engaged in. You know, if we value our libertarian leanings, roots, teachings, guidance, you know, it is true. It's generally a smarter idea than not to lean libertarian on policy. Absolutely. 100% accurate. But I think things have been out of control for a long time. And they say that Mexico's been run by the drug cartels. They don't even have a functioning government. I don't know if I, fully endorse that theory, but it's been said. So I think it's time that we address these ongoing problems 100%. We've had too many problems for too damn long. David says there's just so much negativity connected to the trafficking business. I know. And I've had libertarians on, and the one guy, I won't mention him now. But yeah, he's very familiar. He's told his story, but he's very familiar with moving people, trafficking people. Yeah, there's so much negativity attached to it. It's not good. It's not good on any front. I guess if you're fleeing something bad, it can be good. I do get that concept. It's not lost on me. I do get the concept. However, yeah, I agree. There's so much negativity in that trafficking business. You got to get a handle on it. Garbage Human here says people will still tell you with a straight face that it's a gun problem. Annual firearm homicide deaths among men per 100,000 per year by race and state. What? The difference between races of annual firearm homicide deaths, 56% difference in Missouri. It's 2.7% white population suffer a homicide death from a gun. And 60%, 59% in Missouri. That's a difference of 56%. The percentage differences are 1% to 49, 1% to 48, 2% to 46, 1.5% to 43. Oh my God. What is wrong in these communities? That's a whole separate topic for a deep dive. I mean, I had several conversations with Larry Elder about this topic specifically. Larry Elder, the sage of South Central. Oh yeah, by the way, anybody, if you're not aware, I'm asking for 700 pennies. Each penny is 1 YouTube hour watched from the New American Media YouTube channel. So if you have a second device, an extra phone, another tablet, a laptop, or a desktop, can you maybe pull up the New American Media and let some of our 3-hour videos play? If you're out in the yard, let some play. Check out some of our old content. Go to like our most popular shows and scroll down and be like, oh, I didn't know they talked. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know they did this. You might be surprised at our catalog of 2,000 videos over the past 14 years. But yeah, we are asking for your support. 700 pennies. Each penny is a 1 hour watched. I am within striking distance of applying for monetization back on YouTube. Our heavily shadow banned channel and demonetized channel. I would love to get that monetization back so that we can get the ads playing, and then the pennies could start piling up, and then you pay your monthly fee for X, you pay your monthly fee for your internet bill, you pay your monthly fee for the restream service that I use to deliver your show. And then you start paying other bills, the electric bill, and then you start paying for the office space, and then you start paying for the staff, and it's this type of effort, the community here, that I appreciate. So if any of you want to participate, it's the 700 penny challenge here on the New American Media. Please go to our YouTube channel and watch as many hours of content as possible. It's a way that you could contribute to us without very much effort. Really no money out of your pocket, just, little bit of energy bills to keep your laptop running for 12 hours or something, and just keep our shows playing. Maybe go on a binge and watch our content. Check out while you're cleaning up the house or building cabinets in the garage. I don't know, whatever it is you humans do. I don't know. What is it that humans do? I'm wearing my alien shirt today from Roswell, New Mexico. Oh, there's a good reminder. That's a nice segue. Please make sure you keep your eyes peeled for Strictly Football with Brian Engelman and Mike Barra. Mike Barra is the Ancient Aliens guy. You know him from Ancient Aliens and Coast to Coast AM and all that jazz. Conscious Life Expos. Well, we do a weekly sports show. We will debut our program the week before the regular season. Very excited for that. Very excited. Stay tuned. Super amped. Huzzah. Jim Mitchell will probably be with us as well. John Odermatt and I might do a Big Ten weekly show. Talking Buckeyes. He's a Nittany Lion. That could work. And then also, what's the other one? Oh, I might bring Izzy in to cover the Browns later today, if the schedule allows. But yeah, I do a Strictly Browns show, the Unhappy Hour Sports Show, all sorts of stuff. But anyway, like I said, please, 700 penny challenge. Watch as many hours of the New American Media on YouTube as you can this weekend. We're making a push. I want to click to monetize, and they might block me anyway. They might be full of all sorts of unfair, dirty tricks. I get it, but just I want to try. I want to go for it. I've never been delivering this volume of content on the New American Media this consistently ever in the past 14 years. I've always done stuff. I'd go to big events. I'd get big interviews. I'd, do sports. I'd do current events and politics. And we'd have big guests, special guests calling in. But I never really delivered 6 days a week. I know even today I wasn't supposed to do a show, but my schedule allowed for it. So I said, you know what? Let's go. I'm in. Anyway, what I was saying is go back and watch my interview with Larry Elder, because he talks about the violence in the Black community. He talks about growing up in South Central, the lessons he learned from his father. And we've had some really good chats. And, Larry's allowed to say truth. He's allowed to speak honestly. He's a Black dude. There's been this weird stigma, like, oh, if you're not a Latinx, you can't talk about Latinx issues. Like, huh? Have you been up to the moon? Can you talk about the moon? Can anyone talk about? Only 4 people can talk about the moon. Okay. I've never understood that topic. I've never understood that stigma. Other than it's part of the Obama doctrine, the greater Obama doctrine. It's to silence people. It's to threaten people. It's to shame people. It's to just sit down, shut up. Back of the bus, Whitey. You don't get a say in. No. The adults are making decisions now, and you go sit with the kids at the Thanksgiving table, and you're like, how did we get to that? And I know how we got to it. It's because we allowed it. We allowed it because the wimpy aspect of American culture got bullied into silence. We're emerging from that, thank God. Because if you care about humanity, if you care about Black folk, I was telling Michelle the other day, some people say politicians have been giving Black folk the old okie doke for a long time. But I really care. Si se puede. Yes, we can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Stay at a place where my chef tragically expires about 7 feet of water. Been misreported about 4 feet, but I think that property, our vacation property that we allegedly rented, I think it just sold. Wasn't there a Les Wexner connection? Michelle, didn't they say there was a Les Wexner or a Jeffrey Epstein connection to that property that we rented? Yeah, look, just every time I say folk, I think of Obama and his fake ass every time. Oh, yeah, folk. Oh, you folk out there. Oh, you folk out there. Folk. Yeah, what a folk hero. Oh, he's a folkin hero, all right. If you care about the black community, that's all I was trying to get to. If you care about the black community, you want to reduce what is it, 47% difference in the homicide rate. Why are 1.5% of homicides for white men, and why is it 45% for black men? What in the hell is going on? And fix it. Fix it. Oh no, fighting crime is racist. No, allowing crime is racist. How did people get so spun around on this? 5% of the people cause 95% of the problems. It's not 100% foolproof. But if you get rid of the repeat chronic agitators of the community, guess what? Your community can catch its breath and thrive. So yeah, I see these rates on CNN, and that firearm homicide death, and it makes me sick to my stomach. Go back and watch that interview with Larry Elder. He talks about the differences in the black community in only a way that Larry Elder can, I mean, yes, one, because he's sharp, one, because he's smart. I'm doing 1, 2, 3. He's sharp, he's smart, he's articulate, he's a black dude. He's one of the greater communicators on the right of the right side of the political spectrum in America today. Too bad he didn't get a fair shake at governor of California. I thought that would have been fantastic. Bella saying, glad to have the military fighting for us rather than in other countries overseas. I know. However, we did drop 6 bunker busters in Iran for some reason. We are kind of still deploying people and funding things. Difference with Ukraine now is that it's not our credit card tab. If you want the funding, you want the resources, fine. Well, you're going to pay Lockheed and Raytheon and Boeing and whoever, pick your favorite defense contractor. No, you're going to buy it from us. We're going to make money on the war. We're not going to lose money on it now. All right. I mean, it seems like Trump is trying to get Putin to stop. Trying to get Zelensky to stop. It's 2 kids fighting on a playground. Or they're 2 animals attached to each other. You ever see 2 eagles fighting in the sky and the talons are dug into each other and they're spinning and twisting and falling? They'll often both drag each other down to their demise at the same time. They won't let go. They won't stop. Israel, Palestine, similar situation. I think Israel just said, enough. We're taking all this. You're done. We're never dealing with this crap again. Never. Or, of course, they allowed it to happen, or they made sure it happened, or they did it to themselves so that they could steal the land and have a good excuse. That's the story for every conflict. Either the story we think we know is what's happening, or someone's making it up for some reason. I don't know which one is which. I guess we're all just guessing. David Band says anyone is a target in Mexico. I know. I've been there a couple times, and I conozco and escucho español poquito, así, más o menos. Estudio en escuela para 3.5 años. I broken Spanish. I can communicate some things, and I love practicing it. I was actually out at a comedy club, and something was going on, and I spoke a little Spanish, and somebody started yelling at me. It was the weirdest thing because my Spanish wasn't good enough for her. I'm like, lady, this has got to be one of the most confusing situations I've ever been in my life. I literally don't understand what about me is agitating you to the point where you felt you needed to tell me that I shouldn't be speaking Spanish because it's not perfect enough. I'm like, lady, you know how much I respect somebody from Mexico that speaks a little bit of English and they're trying really hard to communicate? I think it's awesome. That's what I'm doing. I got a couple phrases that I'll use. Anyway, pontificating about the things. That was such a weird moment. Bella says, I want to see Obama go down on another dude so badly. Bella, why would you share that with us? I'm sorry, I added another dude. That was incorrect. I'm sorry. What the comment was, I want to see Obama go down so badly. I'm sorry. I think I misread that. Like I said, I'm tongue-tied today. Sorry, the joke was right there. I had to go for it. I know. And he did it all to himself. Like that's the beauty of it. The guy had it all. Si se puede. I'm tall. I'm slender. I got a great smile. I can read that teleprompter. Mitt Romney over here thinks Russia is the greatest threat to American foreign policy. I told him 1980 called. They want their foreign policy back. Huh. I had it all. A bit of a mandate, which consequently, when they called me Bathhouse Barry, they also said I went on a lot of mandates. But neither here nor there. Growing up, as I did, being born in Indonesia, I'm sorry, I mean Hawaii, of course. I said Hawaii. I meant Hawaii. I think my unique racial, ethnic background, I'm like half into my Obama and I'm half out of my impression. I'm going to bail on it. The point about Obama, he had it all. He had it all. He did have a unique look. I'm half white. I'm half black. Our country, it's come a long way, but we got a long way to go. And he squandered it. He blew his chance. He could have been the greatest uniter we've ever seen. Said, I don't care if you normally vote Republican or Democrat or Libertarian or sit it out. I'm going to be a worker for all of us, for the American people. And, together, we're going to take this to the golden age. We're going to reduce crime. We're going to make your dollar go further. We're going to reduce spending, fix the healthcare system. But he didn't do any of that stuff. He did the opposite. The healthcare, Obamacare, written by the lobbyists, written by the insurance companies to screw us all over. Isn't it a good thing? He could have been the uniter in chief. Instead, he was the divider in chief. That is how he was always trained. That's how he was raised. That's how he was groomed. That's how he was coached. We saw this coming. The people watching Glenn Beck and Rush and really digging into the history of who is Obama, who trained him, what ideology, the Reverend Wright to Jeremiah Wright. We knew that Obama was going to be bad news, but it was still like you had all the opportunity in the world to unite the country. And he came in and was the most divisive. He was a racial arsonist, still is. He was out there repeating the fine people hoax, pretending, lying about Trump calling Nazis fine people. That asshole Obama was out there election week in 2024, repeating the fine people hoax, one of the most destructive racial hoaxes in American history. And he's still out there doing it. Screw that guy. I can't wait to see Obama go down as well. He did everything to himself with all the treason that he committed. The framing, the fake FISA warrants, and Watergate on steroids. That's all of Obama's own doing. Nobody forced him to do that. He chose to do that. And everything coming his way for the treasonous acts, he earned it. Nobody set him up like they set Trump up. Obama earned every moment he's going to spend behind bars. And for the love of God, can we start the perp walks already? Once a snake, always a snake, says Bella. Agreed. Anyway, back to this thing about CNN talking about firearm homicide death. Please clean this up. We've got to do better as a nation. Nick Sorter here says multiple staffers have turned against Jasmine Crockett, accusing her of being a no-show boss from hell, per New York Post. She is never in the office and is very disengaged. She does her bullshit that goes viral and then freaks out over the most random things, a former aide said. She is laying around her apartment, won't come into the office, and she's really just indifferent to staff and will scream at them, another aide said. A third aide added she is focused almost exclusively on being an influencer, not a member of Congress. I mean, that sort of sounds right, doesn't it? Crockett also demands to be driven around in the back seat of an Escalade anytime she's in Washington, requiring a staffer to wait hours next to the car just to be ready to open the door for her. Texas needs to get rid of this chick. I don't know. She's also the greatest gift to the Republican Party. You get to see the side by side. The people that say, oh, there's no plan. You can't trust a plan. Why would anybody allow 4 years of Biden? It's like, well, if you got to see the compare and contrast, you'd never vote Democrat again. And I think a lot of the country's woken up to that. What is this? Breaking. Libs of TikTok. Ryan Anthony Wayant, former CEO of LG Alphabet Real Estate Organization, charged with possession of child awfulness. He allegedly downloaded thousands of images of child awful abuse. The thing that never happens happened again. Former CEO of a Alphabet agency real estate organization. Well, all right. Thomas Massey says, due to a shoddy approval process and known side effects, the FDA should immediately revoke licensure of the mRNA COVID shots. Manufacturers of the shots were granted immunity from liability by virtue of the president's invocation of the PrEP Act, which he should revoke as well. Marjorie Taylor Greene says AIPAC is sending fundraising emails attacking her for saying the most truthful and easiest thing to say, that October 7th in Israel was horrific and all the hostages must be returned, but so is the genocide, humanitarian crisis, and starvation happening in Gaza. Well, this is the sign on the front door of my office, and I think the truth is that AIPAC doesn't like it because I'm unapologetically representing America. I'm one of the only members of Congress that doesn't take money from AIPAC, who donates way more money to Republicans than Democrats. The truth is AIPAC needs to register as a foreign lobbyist by U.S. law because they are representing the secular government of nuclear-armed Israel 100%. While Congress is out on reset and supposed to be working in our district, they just took a bunch of members of Congress to Israel to make sure they don't step out of line. Oh, good grief. While AIPAC is lying to their donors about me, claiming I'm betraying my American values, the reality is AIPAC, 1 million%, serves in lobbies for a foreign country, Israel. As American as they come, I can't be bought, and I'm not backing down. I'm fighting for my children's generation and for America only. Bring it on. No foreign lobbying. If you enter this office seeking funds on behalf of a foreign nation, you may be in violation of 22 U.S. Code 611-62 Foreign Agents Registration Act, America First. What are your thoughts on AIPAC? Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Thoughts, anybody? Breaking. Federal court, according to Ms. Muckraker, reverses Judge James Boasberg's order of contempt against the Trump admin for deporting criminal illegal aliens under the Alien Enemies Act. All right, we're back in business. DOJ opens a grand jury investigation into New York Attorney General Letitia James over the Trump civil case. Sources tell Fox, good, go get Letitia because she campaigned, show me the man and I'll find you a crime, and she just set him up. She attacked him for political purposes, for political gain. You're not allowed to do that. All right, Ms. Muckraker says, breaking. Illinois becomes the first U.S. state to ban AI therapy. Illinois enacted the Wellness and Oversight for Psychological Resources Act on August 1st, 25, becoming the first U.S. state to ban AI from independently providing therapy or mental health services. This prohibits AI diagnosis, treatment, or direct client interaction without licensed professional oversight, aiming to protect patients from unregulated tech. Penalties up to $10,000 per violation. AI is allowed for administrative tasks only. That's probably a good idea. What needs to go? AI needs to go, or AIPAC, foreign lobbying needs to go, or both need to go? Shadow of Ezra here says Nancy Pelosi revealed plans for a nationwide push to expand transgender surgery on minor, calling it a priority for Democrats? What? She stated the goal is to ensure gender-affirming care is available across the country. What? No unnecessary genital mutilation for children. When you're 18 and you need to be protected from Munchausen mommies and Frankenstein doctors and absolute lunatics. Look, people suffering from gender dysphoria need love. They need care. They need guidance. They need adults in the room to help steer them through. They don't need this. Protect the kids from all those things. Breaking. The FBI, according to Nick Sortor, the FBI has just arrested Boston sheriff. Have you heard about this? Bella, this is your backyard, right? A sheriff who has refused to work with ICE on deportations in the city. Suffolk County, Massachusetts Sheriff Steve. Dude, this is a tongue twister weekend, isn't it? Suffolk County, Massachusetts Sheriff Stephen Tompkins was booked on federal extortion charges after extorting $50,000 from a cannabis dealer trying to do business in the city. Oh my goodness. That's shared from the Being Libertarian site. Tulsi Gabbard drops a nuke on the deep state.
James Clapper was on the team that created, that manufactured intelligence assessment that led to the Iraq war.
Tulsi was there. She knows. The biggest mistake the deep state made was trying to pin, oh yeah, Tulsi's a Putin puppet. Oh, you idiot. You made an enemy out of Tulsi. Bobby Kennedy should have been your candidate, and you railroaded him on that process. Bobby Kennedy's getting his revenge on the Democrats. Democrats have the motto of today's show, the theory, the concept, breaking it down to a bullet point, a bumper sticker phrase. The Democrats did this to themselves. They did all of this to themselves.
About the Iraq WMDs.
They pushed their most talented Democrats over into MAGA. Thank you. So that we could add Tulsi and Bobby to the team. They're doing great work.
He writes about it in his book, saying that he and his team of intelligence analysts created something that was not there. When you look at his actions then, and you look at his actions in 2016 as Obama's director of national intelligence, you see someone who has no problem whatsoever politicizing and manufacturing and weaponizing intelligence for a political outcome. James Clapper.
Those people should be put in plexiglass or just put them in regular cages. Alcatraz. Do the renovations, go out there, make it the finest, whatever, most whatever. And still take the tours. Put Clapper in there. Clapper, Brennan, Comey, Obama, Biden, Clinton. And take a tour and just look. This is what happens if you commit treason. Be good, kids. It's time for the indictments already. Remember this one?
I want to thank you not only for being here, I want to thank you for running for president.
They said CBS deleted this entire episode from their official website. You will not find these segments on YouTube either. From a 2015 episode of The Late Show with Colbert. Yeah. So go and watch that. I don't know. I'm not going to play it here, but it's on our if you're on our Instagram feed, we put our little stories at the top. You can click through them and watch this one in its entirety. It's interesting for perspective. Hey, Sage Steele. You know how I talk about the new American media suffering from censorship and losing opportunities and losing financing and losing, all sorts of stuff. It hasn't been ideal. Sage Steele at ESPN, she went through it as well with ABC, ESPN, Disney. Listen to her in her own words. It wasn't okay.
It wasn't okay to punish me for having an opinion when you are at the same time allowing my coworkers to go on ESPN airwaves. I was doing it on a side podcast on a day off, separating myself from the company because I think that's very important. These are my opinions, not the company. Would never do it on SportsCenter or NFL Live or any other show because you came there for what? To watch football, not to hear my opinions on anything else. And I that was an absolute with me my entire career there. And how am I punished and silenced and suspended? All of the things. But my coworkers are allowed to go on TV during a women's college basketball game in the NCAA tournament and have a moment of silence for the alleged Don't Say Gay bill in the state of Florida? Or to talk about how devastated they are that Roe versus Wade got overturned and how youngsters can't get abortions anymore in certain states on a football show or basketball show? Tell me how that's okay. But I can't talk about how I wasn't comfortable with being forced to take a shot on a separate thing while complying with your rules. And that's when I said enough and filed the lawsuit for First Amendment and freedom of speech against Disney and ESPN. It wasn't.
Didn't do it on Disney, ESPN, ABC. Did it on a separate podcast and was still compliant, took the thing to keep the job, and it still wasn't enough. There's never enough with these people. There's no negotiating with them. You need to find a tribe of people that you get along with and kind of do your thing, you know? It's been frustrating too, because one of my great passions in life is sports. And where would I want to go to do sports? Like ESPN's like the number one, or it used to be. And then it went woke. ABC, ESPN, Disney, everything went bonkers. Man, the Kaepernick stuff. Oh, I was firing off the comments like you wouldn't believe on that. I really disliked so much about that story. I'm not going to get into it at this stage, but yeah, I've got years. You can go back on previous shows. I got lots of thoughts. But yeah, Sage Steele was taken out by the machine as well. But Gina Carano won her lawsuit. They settled amicably. I think those are interchangeable words. And yeah, America is healing. We're getting past this Obama doctrine. It's a very dark days, these 16 years of Obama and Biden behind the scenes, pulling puppet strings and framing people and weaponizing government and rigging the system and stealing everything not nailed down. Dark days. Just really terrible decade and a half or so that we're emerging from. But I do think America's healing. I think we've addressed a lot of these issues front and center. We've been honest about it, and we're moving forward in a positive way. Jack Posobiec here says that Spanish Town has banned Muslim festivals in public. They said, quote, Spain is and will be forever the land of Christian people. There is a global effort for Islam to move into communities and take them over, dominate them, take over cities, take over states, take over countries. It's part of a caliphate effort to go everywhere and dominate everything. It's been said that Islam is a political ideology of global domination, and the religion aspect is the vessel through which it accomplishes its the ends to justifying the means. Well, what they're aiming at is global domination. I mean, Christians do proselytize. They do go preach the word and ask people to become born again or converts to Christianity. They ask. They don't go dominate. They don't go lay out in the public square and block traffic and pray 55 times a day to remind everybody around them, you better get on with the program or else. You know, it's an intimidation technique. So it's interesting to see how things are shaking out now that Obama, Biden, the intelligence agencies that have been all pushing this stuff, the deep state, the forced global colonization, things they are a-changing. Keep your eyes on Spain. Oh, the Babylon Bee. Democrats warn new Trump census could negate all the illegal alien votes that Biden brought in. Oh, that's outrageous. You have to stop that then. Yeah, that's if they were honest. That's what they would say. Here's a reminder that every boot you ignore stomping someone else's neck is just breaking in the leather for yours. Yeah. It's sort of why we do what we do here at the New American Media. Tom Ryder, I don't know Tom Ryder, but he's attributed. You know, there's also an Orwellian to imagine the future. Envision a boot stomping on the neck of mankind forever, or something from Orwell 1984. Now, I don't know how accurate this is, but I saw this. I want to share this. This is very interesting. Growing up in Ohio, I've been around a lot of these places.
Wexner and Epstein both had a secret plan and a window view of what was to come. Wexner created the New Albany Company. From my understanding, the company, along with other ambiguous LLCs, would buy up an entire block of family farms and then sell it to a corporation for an even bigger profit. Epstein was soon granted power of attorney, as well as president of New Albany Co., and he began to break ground. In the 2000s, the New Albany Business Park was created. The anchor was Abercrombie & Fitch. In the mid-2000s, plans were moving forward again. A highway was proposed.
Oh, there's music in the background of this, doggone it. Doggone it. All right. Their business I'll just read this. Their business activities significantly transformed it from a small farming community into a prosperous, affluent suburb. In the mid-'80s, Wexner, L Brand's founder, partnered with Jack Kessler to form New Albany, spearheading development for New Albany into a planned upscale community. Epstein, who was Wexner's financial manager at the time, was closely involved, serving as president of the New Albany Company alongside Wexner in 98 and contributing some capital to the project. The transformation turned a village of under 500 into a thriving area with developments like the New Albany International Business Park, home to major companies like Abercrombie & Fitch, and later attracted projects like Intel's semiconductor plant. While this growth displaced some aspects of the original rural community, it was a deliberate redevelopment, not an erasure, and the town still exists as a growing, wealthy suburb. Anyway, I just found that interesting and wanted to share. All right, bonus time here. Let's see if there's anything trending on X. What plans do you have for Saturday, people? Type it in the comments. Hit like, hit subscribe, please. Okay, right there on X, we are at American_media_. This is our interview with John B. Wells and the link to our Patreon account. If anybody would like to donate, please consider doing so. Additionally, we do have where the heck is it at? Scrolling. There we go. TNAM donation links at the bottom of the screen in blue. Like I said, at the New American Media on Patreon. BrianEngelman on Venmo. BrianEngelman on Cash App. BrianEngelman. And Fuzz Installment at Yahoo. That's the PayPal address to shoot something over into our tip jar. I do consider you my regular patrons, and I do consider myself the bartender. So thank you so much. No real plans for David today. Yeah, I got a new toy. I got a new little chainsaw, and there's always outdoor projects, but I got so many other projects. It's like, where do you even start with the projects? How do you prioritize when everything's a priority? Goodness. How do you square that one away? How do you prioritize when everything's a priority? That's how I feel. Okay, this is huge news. Apparently, the Department of Justice had these text messages between Bill Barr and Fani Willis on the RICO case that was manufactured to target Trump, and it's just been sitting on them. Pam Bondi likes Bill Barr and is friends with this POS trader. The more you know, says Mike Engelman. No relation, spelled differently. Patriot Warrior Texas sent a little comic. Pay us what you owe us. Not with dildos. Have you been following the story of the WNBA and the dildos? And I guess it's not just a WNBA thing. I guess throwing dildos onto sports, I don't know, rinks, courts, fields, field of play. It's something that happened to Tom Brady, and now it's happening to the WNBA. Pay us what you owe us. Not with dildos. That's funny. They're claiming here Taco Bell, calling it beef filling. And they're saying silicon dioxide or something. Silicon to make it fuller. I don't know about that, but that's terrifying. We need to fix our food, please. Man, has Taco Bell gotten expensive anyway. Officer Lou here says, breaking, Project Veritas reports a recently uncovered text messages and emails show former Attorney General Bill Barr working with Fulton County DA Fani Willis on the RICO case against President Trump. Oh my God. So we'll unpack this next week. Vigilant Fox says another COVID conspiracy theory just came true. Special HHS advisor confirmed. And RFK Jr. effectively shut down almost all mRNA vaccine funding. We asked for some feedback on this J6 video, but it was discussed extensively. And he said if the conclusion is that these officers committed a crime, it would be rendered moot by Trump pardoning them. Alex here is reporting the bombshell, like I said, Project Veritas whistleblower, revealing deep state cabal, including Bill Barr, Armstrong Williams, and Fani Willis, targeted Trump supporters, including General Flynn, Alex Jones, Roger Stone, Steve Bannon, Rudy Giuliani, Nick Fuentes, Oath Keepers, and the Proud Boys. Oh my God. The absolute weaponization. Bella's chance this weekend is going to walk the beach when the sun is much lower. Do you have a metal detector? Oh yeah, it's a beef-like product. Hello, Kenneth. Yeah, Kenneth joined us on the show yesterday. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. I'll say thanks for having me on the program. To be continued. All right, we're going to share this on X. So this is on Meme Wars. Brian's TNAM joins at Odermatt to discuss all the things. Check it out. It's on X now. I shared yesterday's show. You can find it. Okay, cool. Whistleblower says Klaus Schwab ordered the World Economic Forum to rig its global rankings, tanking Brexit Britain to punish sovereignty while propping up India to court Modi. From fake data to misused funds, the truth is clear. Globalism isn't neutral. It's aggressively hostile, says Russell Brand. Check out his clip there. It's on our X feed. Breaking, President Trump has just appointed Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent as acting IRS commissioner, according to Nick Sortor. Bill Barr's target list. After a secretive September 13, 2021 meeting, several targets were subpoenaed or charged over J6 in the 2020 election. Some were jailed. Many are still fighting legal cases and trying to rebuild their lives today. That's the Project Veritas report. Incredible. Krasenstein here, the Democrat goon, says he'll pay the fine of any Texas Democrats who have fled the state. Contact me, please. Tim Poole says, hey, Grok, is offering money in exchange for official acts bribery in Texas? Also, is attempted bribery illegal? Good question. Clandestine says, hear me out. Trump is hinting that he wants to use the National Guard to stop the crime in D.C. and secure the Capitol. Okay. This comes at the same time that he's investigating the deep state cabal and a grand jury is being impaneled. What if those two things are connected? If Trump is actually going to follow through on high-profile arrests, he is going to need control of D.C. He will need complete security to pull off arrests. Military presence would give him the ability to mask movement of high-profile targets, and he will need the National Guard in place preemptively to shut down any riots or uprisings because the public will likely be outraged if certain high-profile individuals are arrested. If there's going to be a corruption purge here in the United States, similar to the one in Saudi Arabia in 2017, and by the way, might I add, in El Salvador, Trump taking federal military control over D.C. would be necessary. That's some food for thought. It's an interesting thought. And that is what I wanted to share with you today on the TNAM Daily Show, Weekend Edition. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Yeah, I was not available to do the show, and now I am. So I'm glad I did it. So now I'm going to do a episode of the Unhappy Hour and talk more sports. So let me wrap this one up, and I'm going to kind of talk about Shedeur Sanders. I don't know if it's going to be immediate or if it's going to be in a little bit, but step one, we're going to file this one away. We unpack the news. Oh, the one thing I didn't do on X is anything trending. Abdul Carter. Why is Abdul Carter trending? Okay, because he had a good... All right, players to watch, okay? Anything else trending? Ron Paul. Why is Ron Paul trending? Happy 90th birthday. Is that today? Hey, 90th birthday. Happy birthday, Dr. Paul. Yeah, Ron Paul did more to help save America than almost anybody. Ron Paul should be up on that Mount Rushmore of people. You know, he can take things a little too far. He can be curmudgeon-y, and he's got the Mr. Magoo daughter. You know, he's a doddering. What's that phrase? Doddering. What is the phrase I'm looking for? Doting? No, he's kind of Ron Paul's awesome. The Ron Paul revolution. There are core components woven inside of MAGA. Happy birthday, Dr. Paul. We need more. Kenneth says, buy XRP. Why should we buy XRP? What's the latest? Is there something we need to know? Let me check my crypto. I need to set up a donation link on crypto. That's for damn, man. Things are up. Yeah, I've done all right on Ethereum, on Bitcoin, on XRP. XRP is 329. Yeah, Ethereum is my biggest mover, but my XRP's done well too. The thing about crypto, the only thing is you wish you had more. It's always the thing. All right, that's what I had to share with you. I'll be back talking sports in a little bit. I appreciate you. I love you, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Until next time. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.